In this video, we will show you how to replace your coolant temp sensor on this Kia Forte Koup with a 2.4-liter engine. This will be located along the driver's side of your engine. Let's get into it. It's time to drain the radiator coolant. To be able to do that, make your way over to the radiator cover, make sure it's cool to the touch. Assuming it is, you can press down, turn this counterclockwise, and lift it up and away from your face in case it's under pressure. A quick inspection under there to make sure the seal is still in good condition, and we'll set this aside. At this point, we need to make our way safely under the vehicle, so safely raise and support. Now from under the vehicle, if you were to look along the passenger side of the bumper cover, just in front of your engine compartment, you're going to find the lower aspect of the radiator. In this area, you're going to be looking for the petcock. For this, you just want to go ahead and turn that counterclockwise, but be careful, coolant will make its way out of here. You need to make sure you have a collection receptacle under here so you can recycle that fluid properly. Let's reach up in there. Sometimes you have to use pliers to break this free. Other times you can do it by hand. We'll let this drain. Now that we have the coolant drained, let's make our way along the driver's side of the engine. Right behind the air filter inlet is where you're going to find your coolant temp sensor and the connector. To remove the connector, you want to squeeze on the locking tab. Once you have that disconnected, give it a quick inspection for corrosion. If you see any, that needs to be taken care of. This looks fine, so we'll set that aside. With the electrical connector disconnected, you can continue on with a small flat blade screwdriver or a pick. You're going to find that you have a metallic clip right along this area here that we're going to have to dislodge so we can remove that sensor. To remove this, you just want to make your way gently in between and start prying it out and away, but be careful not to lose it because you will be reusing it. You can see it's starting to come out now. It's a good idea to have a magnet handy. You can use an angled pick once it starts coming out as well. There's that clip. Like I said, a quick inspection, we'll set it aside. At this point, we can take hold of that sensor. Typically, you can try to give it a little twist and pull it up and away. If you have a hard time by hand, go ahead and grab onto it with some pliers if necessary. Kind of a tight area in here. Be careful not to break anything as we continue. There it is, friend. With the coolant temp sensor out of place, clean and inspect the mounting area. Okay, friend, it's time to install our coolant temp sensor. Before we install this, it's a good idea to lubricate the O-ring down along the bottom area there. Just use a tiny bit of lubricant, making our way around. Let's get this in place. Slide that right down in there. I like to have it so the locking tab will be facing towards me, off towards the driver's side here. Just spin that as necessary. Press this down in there, give it a little wiggle. Continue on. Once it is pressed in, we need to reinstall our metal locking clip. It's going to fit into the grooves. You can see one where my index finger is here, the other's on the opposite side. Okay, we can see it starting to go in the grooves there. Let's press it all the way in. Listen for a click. Give that a little tug. You want to make sure it's properly secured so it does not come loose on you while you're driving down the road. Otherwise, you're going to have a major coolant leak. Let's get our electrical connector on there. Press that down. Listen for a click. Once again, we're giving it a tug to make sure it's properly secured in place. Make your way along the bottom passenger side of the radiator. It's time to close the drain. Just go ahead and reach up there. We'll turn this clockwise until it bottoms out. Make sure it's nice and tight. Clean up your mess. Now it's time to fill the cooling system. You can either use a specialty tool or you can use a coolant funnel of some sort. Either way, you need to make sure you burp out all the air from inside the system before you go ahead and drive the vehicle around. Now I have a tool that will do this by creating vacuum in the system. It also helps check for leaks. What we're going to do here is apply negative pressure. I'm going to be watching my gauge. I want to see the needle make its way all the way from the red, through the yellow, and in the green. We want to watch it pause in the green someplace, typically above 25 psi there. That's negative pressure. Once we've completed that, we're going to pause and let it try to hold that negative pressure in the system. If we see the needle start to drop for some reason, typically that means you have a leak someplace. Okay. As you can see, my needle's sitting exactly where it needs to be. It hasn't moved. It especially hasn't moved down into the yellow or worse into the red. This is a great sign. That means it's time to start filling the cooling system. Since we're using negative pressure for this, or vacuum, we're going to bring our tube right into the coolant jug here. The coolant needs to be 50-50 mixed. You never want to use concentrate, and you especially never want to use only water. Let's start drawing in the coolant. You'll see it make its way up through this hose, and at the same time, the gauge is going to start dropping. Switch over this jug real quick. Continue on. At this point, there's no more vacuum in the system. We can remove our tool. If you don't have the specialty tool, you need to at least have the funnel. When filling this, what we need to do is bring coolant up inside the funnel area. When you're doing that, coolant will be making its way down into the cooling system. Once you feel as though you've got all the air out of the system, essentially it stops burping out little bits of air, you want to go ahead and start up the vehicle. Let it run for a little while, make sure there's no air in the system, and remove the funnel from the area. Give this a quick check. Let's get this off of here. Clean up your mess. Set your tool aside. Let's clean up the mess. Reinstall your cap. Okay, friend, we finished the installation of our coolant temp sensor. At this point, you want to go ahead and start up the vehicle. Let it run for a little while, make sure you have no check engine light, no coolant leaks, and take your vehicle for a road test. Thanks for watching.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.